How is everybody doing tonight? How is everybody doing tonight? Oh, we got a problem. Oh, we got a problem. Back, yep. There, problem gone. How is everybody? Joy, bless his life. Good to see you, Jess. Good to see you, Harvey. Good to see you. One too many tabs open, I see. Problem solved. Good to see everybody tonight. Our nice Friday night. And Gray should be coming in when he gets done with work. We're going to be talking about a bunch of different stuff tonight. Joy says, shared a rooster spittle train video with my friend and has a mean rooster he'd like to. Awesome. I hope it helps, Joy. You never know with that kind of stuff. Animals are pretty funny, but when you show them who's the boss, it tends to turn them around. Ross has been, knock on wood, he's been good ever since. So why fishes? I have no idea. I guess it was playing games tonight. I had to win. Northwood Beach, hi, Beach Tree, good to see you. So tonight we have a lot of good information coming out when Gray gets home from work. He should be here in a little while. We're going to be talking about BPA and BPS and how it affects us in different ways and if it is bad for us and what are they hiding. So if you know anything about that kind of stuff, we're going to be talking about that tonight. Hickory Croft Farms, good evening. Good to see you. Stringfield Arms, good to see you. Harvey, if you're in the chat there, I know you are. Is it okay to use some of your stuff you sent me in the email? Let me know in the chat. It is great to see you guys all. And this is going to be BPA and BPS. Yes, absolutely. Now we're going to be probably going to get hit with a strike on this one, guys, because I heard and I've been reading a lot of information on this, and I've been doing a lot of studies on this. So if you guys don't know what BPA is and BPS, if you guys got a water bottle or something that's plastic, turn it upside down, and you're going to see that on the bottom there. And we're going to be talking about that tonight. And there's some very deep subjects on this. So if you are a prepper or if you're a homesteader or if you're just somebody that's watching this on the screen, you're going to want to stick around because you're going to want to hear this. And guys, if you can, share us out. Let everybody know that all your friends, family, and whoever that we're live talking about this, because this is information that a lot of people need to know and it can help out a lot of people. If you guys notice too on the top, there is our join the Rolling Homestead to become a member. The link is on the top if you guys want to do that, and you can become a member of the Rolling Homestead. That's good too. So how is everybody tonight? Yes, please hit that thumbs up. We got 12 in the house right now, and we got 5 thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. Let's see what I miss in here. Stringfield Arms. Hey, Carol. All right, thank you, Northwoods. That's awesome. There's literally tons of topics on this, and the problem that we're having is it just creates another rabbit hole to go down to. You find one thing on it, and you start looking into that, and it opens a whole nother big can of worms. So I'm going to read you what got this all started, and thank you, Harvey, for that. And it's been on my mind because everybody uses some sort of plastic now, and it is a deep, deep subject. And like I said, guys, it's probably going to get me in trouble talking about it, but I need to get this out. I need you guys to be aware of what's going on. so that you can understand and you can make your own decisions. Now, I am not a technician. I'm not no scientist, nothing like that. I'm just going off of the articles that I've read and the studies that I've done, and I've been doing it for weeks with Gray behind the scenes, so we both are pretty well fluent in this, and it's a big subject, especially for a lot of us, because of homesteading, prepping, or just plain old living life. Good to see you, Moon. How is your night going? Jess, it's good to see you. First and foremost, guys, keep Jess in your prayers. She's having a rough time with pain. She's overdoing it. So let's keep her in our prayers so that she can recover quickly and be back with us. JM Nude House, good to see you. Listening while organizing. That is awesome, man. So how is everybody doing this fine Friday night? Prepper Chick from Texas. Hey guys, if you have any questions, please put them up in caps. The mods will grab them. So if you want to see it, South Florida, good to see you, buddy. How's it going? There's my buddy Howie. Howie, how are you, my friend? And it is so good to see you. So tonight with this article, we're going to start this off, BPA and BPS. We're going to start this off to go in, and I'm just going to read a little article from our good friend Howie, who's in the chat. Let me bring this up. Not Howie, Harvey. Sorry. Not that one. All right, guys, so I'm going to read this. So right now I'm not going to be able to see the chat. So first and foremost, let's take this back a little bit farther, and let's just type in BPA and BPS and the difference, so you guys know the definition of this. So guys got to remember what plastic is made out of. Plastic is made from the earth. It's a propylene kind of plastic era kind of thing going on. So BPA stands for, I'm going to murder this, is bispropyl A. BPA is an industrial chemical that has been used to make certain plastics and resins since the 1960s. BPA is found in polycarbonate plastics and epoxy resins. Polycarbonate plastics are often used in containers that store food and beverage, such as water bottles. All right. So we're going to start there. Research has linked even low doses of BPA exposure to the cardiovascular problems, including coronary artery heart disease, heart attacks, hypertension, and peripheral artery disease, and amongst others. And now I'm getting this right off of Mayo Clinic, guys. So BPA standard for bisulfite is an industrial chemical. So we read that. Carbonate, read that one. Epoxy resins are used to coat the inside of metal products. Metal products, guys. What do we have on our shelves, in our pantries, that are metal products? Such as food cans, bottle tops, and water supply lines. Some dental sealants and composites are also made from BPA. Some research shows that BPA can seep into food or beverages from containers that are made from BPA. Exposure to BPA is a concern because of the possible health effects of BPA on the brain, prostate glands, and other things in infant children, which we won't talk about because I don't want to get hit with a no from you know who. It can also affect children's behavior. Additional research suggests a possible link between BPA and increased blood pressure. So that's what BPA is. So what did they do? They changed the name of it. Didn't change the product, didn't change anything else, just the name. That's what we're going to be talking about tonight, guys. So what do we think that we have? So we have a lot of people and different people that are in here right now that are watching us. If you're a prepper, if you're a homesteader, if you're using ex-military or military or whatever that you are, there's something in your house right now that's plastic. And when we started digging into this, we went all the way through from water lines through the house. We went into the faucets, what's inside faucets. I went through and looked at all of my storage that I have. I went through a lot of different things, and everything that I thought was safe, because I went to the whole BPA free and all that stuff. And there's another one called peat that's made from if you look on the bottom of some of the soda bottles, some other things, it is. My what? Your tongue ring. What? So if you go through all these things and you start reading into it, you're going to be surprised. Now, what I started at is way back as a child when we were kids growing up. Hey, buddy, good to see you. Fox is in the house. Lady Casa, good to see you. Lady T, great to see you. Guys, tonight we are talking about BPA and BPS and how it affects our health. This is a very good and very important subject. And because as homesteaders, preppers, all of that stuff, we all have some kind of plastic material in our house. So what the research shows is that this stuff is very harmful to us and to our children and everything else. And how do we get away from that? We're talking about a list last night on Gray's Live last night with Thursday night with Gray, late night with Gray. Holly, Harvey, can you put that link up there for Gray's live stream last night, please? We got into it a little bit and we discussed a few different items, and it was a very good chat because of the fact that we were talking with other people about, they're galvanized for our stock tanks. We were talking about all kinds of different materials that we could possibly use to store water. Now, if you look at some of the things that are out there, and if you go way back in the day, you're going to see a totally different era of stuff. So you had stainless steel, you had milk cans, you had, why I say stainless steel is you have the big bulk tanks. When the milk is taken from the cow, it goes into the milk tank and it's chilled. They transport that. That's also stainless steel, bulk tank. So we have different ways of doing things. We really need to look at and dig into this. You guys can do your research. There is some stuff out there. There are a lot of things that you can look up yourself and you can find this information. Yeah, use BP free. Exactly, Howie. There's bad things with this. Or story out Northwood, storing maple syrup. Exactly. So we're going to get into this thing about what Howie sent me. So this is rainwater tank material for BPA contamination. Aside from the bacteria growing in your tank, another common concern is the chemicals leaching from the tank itself. As water sites in the chemical tanks contains with plastic, there's a chance that some migration of chemicals from the plastic in the water. That is especially true when the plastic is exposed to heat, direct sunlight, heat. All right. There has been fairly limited studies on plastic or on plants' abilities to intake BPA, and most are done. So what Howie was telling me here is back in the day, we used to use rain barrels, and they would come off the house, and my grandpa would grab out of there and water the garden. Back in the day when I had my first garden, I did exactly the same thing. Now, a little bit different because I have steel roofs and I don't have the shingles anymore. I don't have to worry about that. But you think of the catchment and the containment of the rainwater coming in, it really was like, well, okay, how can we harness this and use this? So really think about what you have in your house and how this is changing for you. So this is the kind of concepts, guys, that we're going to be talking about tonight. I'm going to wait for toothbrushes as plastic. Thanks, Jess. Use your finger. I don't know. All right, guys, we got 22 in the house, and we got 5 thumbs up. 19 thumbs up, 1 thumbs down already. Thank you so much for the thumbs down. You guys are great because you know what? You show me you care. Love it. Yeah, fishes are, bamboo toothbrushes are, yep, there's another one. Bamboo straws is a good one. Stainless steel straws is a good one if you need a straw. I went through and you think about what do you do with a kid? And younger growing up, we all bought plastic glasses because if they drop them, it's not going to break. If you go back farther, baby bottles, plastic, sippy cups, plastic, chew toys for children, plastic. So this really made me start to think about how much plastic is involved in our lives. Some of our foods, food base is the gum. Everything that you think of is some kind of petroleum product. Lady T, that sounds good. Chili dog. All right, so BPA. We're going to go back now to Mayo Clinic. So they're saying in here the BPA is use BPA-free products. Manufacturers are creating more and more BPA-free products. So what are the things that I looked at here is codes. So there's 3 or 7 maybe made from BPA. So if you got a code 3 or code 7, Christine, thanks for joining us. Yeah, I only use that too. So if you look at your recycle codes on the bottom, if you see a 3 or 7, it may still be used with BPA. But I'm going to go and find the other one that's hidden, and that's BPS. And what you guys are going to hear is exactly all right. So BPS. So this is the website that I was actually got into, and there. All right, guys. Well, he is here. I don't have a drum roll, but I'll bring up another one. Hang on, guys. There he comes.
That was the best entrance I've had in a while.
How's it going, buddy?
Oh man, wild night, man. There was I don't know if you got. I texted you on your messenger there. Car fire, big old car fire in the middle of the highway, man. It was wild.
Oh, not good. No, I haven't been checking it. So we are starting to dig into this BPA and BPS. And he's drinking out of the old Shine cup. I like that.
I figured people are going to ask, is he drinking Shine tonight? What's up, D14 Jabs?
All right, guys. He doesn't need an introduction. Gray is gray, and he's here to stay. Hey, that rhymes.
What's up, Patricia? I can't use metal straws or cups, even vertebrates. Crowns, mold fillings, electric shocks.
So we'll let you catch up and then see the difference here.
What's up, Moonface? Right, Harvey? It's the Shine. We're getting ripped tonight, folks.
Have to get my big water bottle. So this is a kickoff from our live stream last night on your channel. And like I told them before you got here, you guys go check that out and you'll get a good introduction of what we were talking about with BPA and BPS. Like I said, we're probably, oh, by the way, my our tech talk has finally came off, and it's they put the monetization back on it now.
It only took them 4 days.
Only 4 days. So I'm going to share this and see what they say. So here, I'm going to get rid of the layer there for a second, guys. So you can go check this out. Safety chemicals, health and family. BPA is harmful to the brain, behavior, prostate, and young children. Many other effects triggered by hormone disruption. BPA related to hormone disruption, and then it goes in deeper into this. BPA food and beverage cans, polycarbonate plastics, children's toys. We just talked about that. Thermal receipt papers. Harvey brought up a good point. Your receipt at the checkout. Guess what? So BPA and BPS are chemical cousins that are commonly found in plastic, foods and beverage cans, linings, and other consumer products. BPA is known to mimic estrogen, and in animal studies, researchers have linked to developmental exposure to the reproductive harm, increased cancer, and abnormalities in brain development and fat metabolism. So what we're digging into before and what we're digging into now is exactly the same thing. So if you're a prepper and you have all the canned foods on your shelf, like we all have, according to that article, they're spraying that inside of that can because if you look at like tomato sauce is acidic, anything that has any acidic substance, if you're a canner or a homesteader like us and we can all that stuff, the lids after a while will start to rust and they get really bad. That's why you're supposed to take the caps off. Apple cider vinegar. If you look at your canning foods and in the summertime you go down there and you go buy a jug of apple cider vinegar, or if you go dry canning vinegar, it's in plastic.
It's funny. I'm gonna grab something because this is like this is ironic because I've been digging into this as well. But let me grab it. It's over there.
Yeah, Harvey says even your paper receipts have this stuff in it.
I bought this a while ago. I have never used it, but so this is a Brita water filter. But guess what it's made out of?
BPA.
Plastic. I don't know what's in it, but premium filtering water. So you're going to filter water, but then you're filtering it into plastic. I'm trying to see if it says anything about BPA on here. If it has any warnings or things on there.
Yep, Dwayne, that's exactly right. Is this stuff. He says in here, he says acidic things can eat the lining of cans, hence the coating. Exactly. This is kind of what we're talking about. And D14, and because of who I got Reynolds at circulation. I've been wearing gloves. Okay. Lady Casser, good to see you.
It does not say Mark, so I don't know.
Remember that thing you're talking about the other night about that peat, about a vegetable plastic?
Yes.
There's the other one too that you'll see in a lot of them. You see the triangle that says peat. Harvey, I don't know if you were in there last night when we were talking about that. If you know anything about that, you can send us an email on that also. There it is. So what they did is they went out and they said, okay, we're not giving you any more BPA, but we just read on here that BPS is the cousin of BPA. So one of the things I found in here that was really interesting is BPA is found in polycarbonated plastic. I read this before, usually marked with recycling symbols number 7 and PC. Not all number 7 plastic contains BPA, so look for products specifically labeled as BPA free. Most canned food and beverage and metal jars lids have BPA based lining unless the company has indicated otherwise and are thought to be major sources of current BPA exposure. And then it says in here that BPS is found in some of the thermal paper cash register receipts and applies to having the similar health risks as BPA. So they state there that it has the similar health risks as the BPA does, BPS.
It's funny. My wife was asking me, she's like, "What are you gonna do about water bottles and stuff like that?" And I said, the best choice, because she was like, "Well, couldn't we use the Brita thing?" And I'm like, "Well, it's plastic." "Well, can we get water delivered?" I said, "It comes in plastic." I said, "The only option we have is to buy a full size Berkey and run our tap water through that Berkey and fill up our jars and whatnot." It's the only thing I can think of to bypass the plastic, roller coaster.
And what really nervous is back in the day, they had where you could buy the Berkey kit and then you could get food grade 5-gallon pails and make your own Berkey, applying the filters and symptoms like that. And it's like half the cost of a real Berkey. And now I'm a little nervous too because a Berkey is stainless steel.
Right. And that's why that's why the Berkey is the price that it is because it is stainless steel.
Yep. So, but what I do is I do have my big pot that I use for making my apple juice. I have a steamer pot for making apple juice, which is stainless. So I do have some things here that I could turn into using them filters afterwards that would be stainless if we would need that. Ark Wildman, hey, good to see you.
So yeah, JM has a good thing, and I just wanted to look up myself. So Harvey, do you know anything about Mylar? It's a polyester film made of polyethylene terephthalate PET, molten polyethylene. These are some words. Polymer. I don't know. I don't know what polyethylene terephthalate is. So now, like I said, we're going down this rabbit hole, folks. What is Mylar safe?
Right? I don't know. Lady T, the Berkey filters also come in. They have the ceramic filters, and they also have the ones that are impregnated with silver. So there's different types of Berkey filters that you can get. But you're correct. The screw on top and that base portion of it is plastic. You're absolutely correct.
Let's do this, man. It makes it easier so people know I'm not full of crap because I'm pulling it up as we speak.
All right, buddy.
So Mylar is made out of polyethylene terephthalate or whatever that word is, but it's a thermoplastic polymer resin. So
and it's or obsolete peat or PTP is most common thermal polymer resin of polymer family, and is used in fibers for clothing, containers, and liquid and foods. So that being said, guys, you just heard me say about the whole plastic and stuff like that.
Yeah, there we go. So now, all of us preppers that have been using Mylar bags, I don't know. I'm not a scientist, so I don't know about if it's bad or not anymore. The 5-gallon buckets that we use, food grade buckets to store foods in. Now, the only good thing where I could say that's positive, let's say if you buy Augustin's Farm or something like that, it comes in a 5-gallon pail, but all the food is individually sealed. And other,
Go look at it. Look at the 5 or number 10 cans.
yeah, I think they're foil lined. I think they're foil, right?
Yeah, I think so. So you still have that aspect to it. I know the batch that I have down from Augustin, I've got that big box, and those are all individually their cans. So the point of it is what we're trying to say is that we have to do a lot more research, and you guys really, I hope you can dig into this on your own. Creative, hey buddy, how's it going? Good to see you. Because PPS and PPA, no matter how you look at it, they're related. Their chemical makeup is not exactly, but very close. And we really need to really understand the facts of what we're putting our food into. So last night when we got off with Gray, we were talking about other types of containers, stainless steel, Pyrex, any kind of containers that are glass. Anything in that matter, and that makes it now become a little bit more difficult. Guys, if you see that you're buying some vinegar and you see that the plastic jugs, if you have something to remove that and put that in, it'd be very, very good, because that is very acidic and that's going to leach that out of there.
So Harvey put in chat, Mylar is a metallized plastic sheeting. What is your take on it, Harvey? Because you seem to know a lot about this stuff when it comes to the plastics. And some people are asking, so what in the heck for long-term storage, guys? This is a very deep rabbit hole. When me and Mark just started discussing this a couple weeks back, when Harvey sent us some emails and whatnot, and we were digging into it, we were like, man, this is a crazy rabbit hole. Now, D14 jabs, kind of, you're right. Animal hide water skins and stuff like that. Yeah. That's the way the Indians did it, the way they stored it. They also used clay pottery or terracotta to store their foods in. The Egyptians used, I think, clay pottery as well, right?
Yep. But we read last night, though, look at their concrete. You know, they were actually hurting themselves because they were using volcanic ash in their concrete that they made, and we all know what silica sand is. Silica sand is very harmful to us. So we got to be careful with that. And that is what number one is what ashes from volcanic ash is made out of. There's silica in it.
Lady T said, Augustin's Farm square buckets are not lined with Mylar, etc. The food is loose inside the buckets. My bucket that I have, they're in bags, if that makes any sense. I can grab one if you'd like, but
mine are too. I'm thinking she's talking about the big ones, because I know that my oats and all that other stuff is actually just those in the square buckets. So, but she did just say now too that she's been transferring that stuff over to glass canning jars. Smart.
We've been pondering that too, because our local stores have a lot of canning jars, and I said, you know what, maybe we should start, every other, every few days when we go out, grab them, and they're pretty affordable right now. So we're thinking about doing that and grabbing a lot of canning jars. The bigger, the better. Also, what do you guys think of this? And I can get your input on it, Mark. Like if you go to certain places, they have these massive, massive pickle jars.
Yeah, we actually saw that because a certain store that we won't say their name, but they start with a W and with a T. They have these big, huge, fat pickles. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you know what? They cost $7 for that big jar of pickles. And that would be a great way to put some food storage in. Absolutely.
Yeah, Harvey says the clay pots were used for thousands of years for water storage.
It's kind of funny, Lady Cassie, you said that because New York was cleaning out their sewer systems and they filled a dump truck full of pills that were not dissolved.
That's nuts. Um, I saw when you had messaged me in Messenger. Did you say did he announce that on his channel that he got hit?
I have no idea. Jess told me that and she sent it to me. So I was letting you know. I know that we're going to get hit on this one.
Yeah, probably. I mean, probably.
Life is a gem. Good to see you. That's why I'm saying, guys, get as many people in here as you can because tonight's talk, it might do some damage down the road and we might have to do some damage control because there has been a big hush on this and there's been people that have been bought out, however you want to say it, hushed up, don't say anything kind of thing. So, well, guys, can't hang out anymore. Stay healthy, happy. Okay, Jess, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, Dwayne, you're right. I think it's pre 1940s before everything started going to a lot of these plastics and all that stuff like that. 1940s, 1950s.
There goes Harvey. He says a quick of the BPA and BPS causes cancer, IBS, erectile dysfunction, rheumatoid heart condition, heart blood pressure, diabetes, and many other health issues, especially in children. Now, we can go down. Here's this other side of this rabbit hole. So if you guys haven't heard, I talk about an awful lot as Georgia Guidestones where they want to get the population down to that 500 million or whatever, 5 billion or whatever it says on there. How do you stop the reproduction of us? Well, you do it in the children. That's the next generation. And that seems to what this is more focused on is our kids.
Yeah, it's like I said, a lot of folks are probably wondering why we've been bringing this up, and it's just because there's a lot of things in the prepper community that are plastic based. So it's kind of just shining light on it. And someone did say in chat, the less you can't probably get rid of everything, but you can try to minimize your risk to some of the stuff or exposure to the BPS and BPA.
Mm-hmm. Less is better. That's for sure. I mean, that's how we got to look at it is down the road, whatever can keep you healthy and keep you out of either big pharma's hands, hospital hands, anything like that. You got to remember those two are big corporations. If you haven't seen what was going on here, the government was filling up and making payments because hospitals being a business, the patients aren't there. They're not making money.
All right.
Dwayne says, I've heard of farmers in Saskatchewan, Canada, finding permacan in their fields. It was 200 years old and still edible. Lady T, I know I had a bunch in my cart that one day at Walmart, and I'm thinking, well, if I walk in here with this much stuff, they're going to think something's going on because I think I had the whole cart just about full. I mean, pickles don't go bad. BPA is used for clear coat on all metal cans, food and beverages, and is manufactured into all plastics. Yep. Absolutely. So you think, now let's dig into this, go through your stuff in the house. I moved into my place here. They had PVC water lines. Wasn't big enough, so what did I do? I turned around and I put PEX tubing throughout the house. PVC, concrete, it all has some plastic in it. Everything that we have in our system now has some kind of plastic. So we really have to be diligent in what we're looking for. Like I was talking in the beginning, plastic plates for children because you don't want them to drop and break them on the floor. Plastic cups because they're going to spill it. Sippy cups. All this stuff is really what we need to be looking at. But my theory was the cans, because when he told me that made me nervous because everybody has cans of food in their storage just for backup. Ziploc bags. There's another one. You freeze your food, you put it in Ziploc bags, you throw it in the freezer.
Yeah, no, I understand that glass can break and can be harmful, but I'd rather it cut, I guess, versus cancer. I've been thinking about this. The only true way to eat is to grow your own food, to hunt your own meat. I mean, I know not everybody can do that, but to probably be healthiest for your body is to literally, grow all your own foods and hunt your own meat, which is
And
dang impossible for most. But
I was listening to Ghost. I was on tonight. He's live streaming right now, and he was just talking about he grabbed one of his seed vaults. Only seeds in there that germinated was his tomatoes. And one of the comments that I put in there is we have all our heirloom seeds, and we constantly are reusing our seeds from the following year. So a big part of this, guys, is just like what Gray said, is if, don't count on something that you're going to store away for 25 years. You need that renewable resource. You need to have that backup plan for the backup. I mean, for last resort, a seed vault is there. But now that makes me nervous that he said that. He tried pulled some of them seeds out of the vault and they didn't germinate. Makes me a little nervous because I do have some of them myself, but now I have my heirlooms. So yeah, copper is probably the best. Yeah, Harvey, they're gonna censor us too.
I mean, fishes, I guess you could always use stainless steel. I mean, you can beat the crap out of that. Like, something like this.
Yeah, I got a bunch of them that you can put them in fire too, so.
Yeah.
Camping stuff, you got stainless steel pots. They're pretty cheap. It was actually, it was from Ozark Trail. I bought a camping cook thing, and guess what it was all made out of? Never used it. Plastic.
Yeah, and D14 jabs. Yeah, man. That's the optimal way, but like I said, most folks probably couldn't do it. I don't know, man. Just imagine if the entire population tried to go back to the hunter-gatherer times. We would run out of food in no time. All the animals would disappear.
The thing of it too is that's how our body's designed. Is we're hunter-gatherers. That's the way our genetic genes are all set up, and that was designed to. You didn't know when your last meal was, and I sent you that video on that.
Mm-hmm.
So that isn't that far off. But as building your homestead, you have that opportunity because you have the renewable resources. You have cows. Cows have a calf. There's your next generation. Chickens lay eggs. Next generation. So you have that ability. If you grow your own foods, you have that chance to get that out of that situation. But we might be, the way this world's looking, we might already be too far gone in order us to start to build that.
Now, for the folks in chat, I do want to say something. I don't want anybody to take this like any type of like fear mongering or anything like that. We just want to bring some light or shed some light on this subject. Nobody's really talked about it, and you don't really see things on the news or media. You have to dig for this stuff, and we're just trying to bring something that's kind of been buried for a while and kind of bring it to light and shed some light on this subject. And maybe you guys, in chat, could do some research yourself and kind of dig into some of the stuff we're saying, because me and Mark are not scientists. You know what I mean? This information was brought to us, and we just decided to share with you folks because we care about you and we care about your health and your family's health and so on and stuff like that. So that's kind of why we're putting a spotlight on this.
Absolutely. I said that before, is we're not, this was all the stuff that we went and looked in, and Grabe has been watching and looking at stuff, and I've been looking for stuff, and behind the scenes, we've been looking at it together, and it brings out a rabbit hole, and there's a lot of unanswered questions. Instead of actually answers, there's unanswered questions, because whichever way you turn on this, it seems like, okay, This opens another hole. This one opens up this. This one opens up that. You know, where do you go from? Hey, B lady, good to see you. So when you start to dig into this and do your own research, you're like Grace said, you're going to have to do some digging because they've got it hid pretty good. They don't like, I mean, it's on the bottom of Google search. Plastic and petroleum products are toxic. Yep. Chris, if you use plastic in a microwave cover, get rid of it. Get a Pyrex. Exactly. If you guys don't know what a microwave does, is it changes the molecular structure of your food because it nukes it. If you ever listen to, if you guys go and watch some of Gray's stuff, we were talking about storing things, and one of the best way to store your valuables, like a cell phone or anything like that, is stick it in a microwave. You know, because if there would be an EMP, that's a safe spot to go. So,
it said it looks like a lot of people in chat, like I'm reading Lady Casca, a lot of people know that plastics do leach toxins. So at least people know that we're not crazy.
Yes, and that's really, you know, that's the point. Is I'm glad you guys are seeing that. I'm glad you guys all know about it. I hope you can get it to the people out there that don't. But I know there's going to be a lot of prepping communities that are going to go the same thing like me and Gray did. Oh crap! Now what do we do? You know, that's a thing too, because everything is easier to store in plastic, right? It stacks better. If you go down and look at my pantry with all the glass jars, if we would have an earthquake here, we'd have a big mess in the pantry because all of the candy jars would break because they're all glass. But the lady says, I honestly forgot about it. But at least you guys are aware of it, and you have an understanding now, and you can go back and just do your own research and check it out. And then if you find out some good information, come back and tell us, because we're learning this as we go too right now.
I mean, some of you guys are, I mean, I'm reading here on the right path, you know, with the cast iron and wood spatulas and all that stuff like that. Because if you think everything that they create these days is like the Teflon coated stuff, there's also some sort of form of plastic and everything. The spatulas, you know, most, if you don't buy good, because I seen someone talk about it in there, good silverware, as they say, you know, actual stainless steel silverware, because there's a lot of cheap. If you go to the Dollar Tree and buy silverware, usually within the first week or in a dishwasher, it rusts. So I wouldn't suggest it, you know.
I remember going to my grandma's house, and they had all their cast iron pans above the stove. They weren't even in the cabinets, and they always had one on the stove.
Yeah, you know? a good seasoned cast iron pan, man. They're awesome.
Yep, I got a few. You guys don't. Cast iron is probably, I've got some stainless steel ones too, but I think the cast iron by far, once they're seasoned, they're unbelievable. Question: once you put your grains, flours, etc. in the freezer, the bugs in the safe and canning jars should also. One of the things I learned, B, is if you're going to do bulk flour, bulk rice, anything like that, they say that you're supposed to put that in your freezer for 24 hours to kill any parts of, if there's bugs or larvae, or what do you say that? Larvae in that. It's supposed to get rid of that stuff. But yes, absolutely, you want to put any of the dry goods, flour, rice, wheats, oats, anything like that, you're going to want to put that in the freezer.
I don't know. I'm gonna start digging deep into some research in regards to large storage things that you can use, because I know glass is fragile. I understand that. Stainless steel is expensive, so there has to be a happy median somewhere. And I'm going to keep on researching. And if I do find something, I will share with you folks.
Well, I was just looking at it because garden hoses. What do we water with? I mean, like we said the other night, you can go down these holes, and every turn that you go to, I think I got 2 sprinkler heads that are actually steel, and they're the big articulating ones that spray. But the other one is plastic. My big arch that goes through, that's plastic. I have a I'm going to go dig out I have a garden hose that's for the RV, and it's supposed to be BPA and BPS free, but it's a garden hose and it's supposed to be for drinking water.
Yeah, because if you think most hoses that you use out there bake in the sun,
Mm-hmm.
and the sun's breaking down that material and then leaching it into the water that passes through there, then transmits to your garden, then transmits into your food that you consume into your body.
And you're exactly right, Dwayne. I was thinking the same thing about he's asking a question, what about rubber? And if you ever take your garden hose off when you're using it and you get a whiff of that rubber smell inside, there's a rubber liner inside of a garden hose. But what is rubber made from?
It's still a petrol product, or
it's a petrol product, so it's from. So I don't know.
I think I was asking you, Mark, or was I asking Jason? I was asking somebody about fire hoses. I think it was you that was asking about fire hoses.
Oh, fire hoses, yeah, those are, but they leak. They're not sealed solid.
So it's an endless rabbit hole is the problem, and trying to fix this big problem is going to be extremely complicated.
Oh yeah, Moon's asking too, is after you take them out of the freezer and flour, can they be stored in canning jars? And yes, you need oxygen absorbers anytime you do that. But what the thing that is really cool is what we found out is for canning jars, if you got one of those pressure sealers or vacuum sealers, there's an attachment that you can get that will suck all of the oxygen out of your canning jars, and it will seal that lid for you and take all the air out of that. Now, once you crack that, that's done. But we're going to get into that a little bit later because Gray is actually starting to do his own canning and stuff, and he's going to have some questions. So we'll start bringing that stuff out here shortly this year. Good question, Moon. All right, Greg, I got to run to the bathroom. You take over.
All right. I'm just looking at chat, and the outsider said my head exploded today when I was looking for all things plastic. Yeah, it's crazy. Modern rubber is made of tar, isn't it? Not 100% full, not 100% D14 jab. So I don't like to comment if I don't know for sure. Natural rubber. Now, Dwayne, do you mean like I may be out of my realm here, but like the rubber tree? Is that what you mean by natural rubber? Minimize bad plastics, tin cans, maximize good. Stainless steel, Pyrex, mason jars, China glass. Yeah, right on, Harvey. That's the process I'm going through right now, brother, is trying to minimize the bad, as you stated here, and move to some of these things. Funny enough, my wife, she saves a lot. All these jars that she buys, like, let's say banana peppers and pickles and tomato sauces and stuff, like all these jars. She's been saving all these jars for so long time. So we have a massive stockpile of these jars. So that's luckily I have a little bit of head start, plus all the canning stuff. But
I just looked at something that made me nervous. What's toothpaste hole held in?
I was gonna say, Mark, it's go through your cabinets, your medicine bottles, everything, man. It's like I said, in the medical field, I said this, I think they said this last night.
Mm-hmm.
Your saline drip bags are running into your veins. They're plastic now. They used to be glass, back in the 40s, I think.
Not only that, is the cheaper Band-Aids. They're plastic. The outer parts are plastic. They're not even woven anymore. So, there's this, guys, we're going to be talking about this for, take care, Howie. You're always in our prayers, buddy, and we'll be thinking a lot about you. I hope everything's going well.
The bee lady, have you heard of storing eggs in water? I know, if you mean pickling eggs, I've heard of that. I'm not sure of just storing it in water.
She's talking about liming eggs.
Oh, okay.
And there's the old way of doing it. They would take lime, or it's called pickling lime, and they would fill up a jar full of water with that, and they would take an egg and they would put that in the egg or in the jar, and they would preserve them for long periods of time. The thing you guys can know is that if you take your egg and you take it from the chicken coop and you put it in a container, don't wash it, leave it alone, and it can sit out for a long period of time because it is in a protective coating. As soon as you wash that egg, you take that coating off.
Mhm.
But there is a test that you can do. So if you got sinkers or floaters, you can go find that out on YouTube, and then you can test your eggs to make sure you have good eggs.
Where I saw something here.
Are fruit snacks okay to eat? Lady Cass, if you're making them, what Gray said was perfect. If you make it yourself, because there's a video that I watched the other day about how food and how sugars are hidden in our food and everything like that. If you make it yourself, you have no preservatives. Gray came to me about, I think it was almost a month ago, we talked about the guy that found a 7-year-old McDonald's cheeseburger in his pocket. I don't know how you can have a pocket with a cheeseburger in it and let it sit for 7 years. But anyway, when they opened it up, it was perfectly preserved and it looked like it was just made that day. That's scary.
Yeah, that is, it's pretty wild. You know, I used to joke around, and there's a couple of questions I'm going to, or a couple of comments in there that I want to go back to. Is when McDonald's, remember when McDonald's used to have the sign "billions and billions served"? In my head, I used to think billions and billions killed. I know it sounds morbid, but McDonald's is one of those companies that spurred, you know, this massive health epidemic and obesity and heart disease and all stuff like that. I researched McDonald's French fries, and the oil that they use is full of carcinogens. And people are like, well, I love them. And I'm like, look at the research behind McDonald's French fries and the oils. And when they put it in there and they do it, the carcinogens are associated with that, which are cancer causing carcinogens. I know we're kind of going off the plastic thing, but it just made me think of the burger, made me think of that whole research I was doing on that.
It is funny because when I have not been to a fast food store in such a long time, when I go, my whole body just hurts after you eat a burger or something like that. It's not a good thing. So, yeah, baking soda, lady. Yep. Another one is they use mint leaves and they brush it around your teeth. That's why everybody should. If one plant to have in the garden would be mint. It has so much good benefits to it.
And Harvey said it. He says, "Yep, agreed. Fast food equals fast death." And Harvey, part of my journey to a better health or lifestyle was cutting that out 5 years ago, roughly. It's almost been almost 5 years now that I haven't ate fast food. It's tough because, you know, sometimes you're in a rush and you want to do something quick, and I understand, but
Dwayne, you're absolutely correct. We're mummifying ourselves, and if you do the research in the different countries, look at Germany's obesity, very, very low. Look at Japan's obesity, very, very low. And look at the different areas that are outlawed in Europe, Japan. Let's just do it this way. You look up Europe, Asia, Canada. Look at all the things that are banned from those areas but are allowed in the U.S. And you're going to start to see something that just will floor your mind. JM says that my nephew sent a picture of a McBurger that was 20 years old and looked normal.
I might do a video down the road after I do more research with that video that you had sent me in regards to the way preservatives in foods this day and age has led to obesity and led to less mineral and absorption of all the foods that you consume, and has changed people's gut health to not get the nutrition that you need out of the foods. This is another rabbit hole. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I'm researching it now, and it's going to take some time for me to actually put something together.
Lady T, take care, and great to see you like usual. Glad you could come and join us for a little while. God bless and take care.
And I can be honest with you folks in chat that are watching. Once I stopped fast food, I had a low point in my life where I was just, things were bad. I was, going through all kinds of stuff. But when I cut out fat, I was on like 8 or 9 medications. Big Pharma had me hook, line, and sinker. When I quit all that stuff and had the weight reduction and got healthier and started getting every 6 months I was getting checkups and everything started becoming normal. So I'm not on those medications anymore. I don't need them. I don't need stuff for cholesterol. I don't need stuff for diabetes. I don't need stuff for all this other stuff like that. But like I said, at 30-some years old, I thought I was like an old man with one of those pill reminders, because I had like so many pills I had to take. And I'm glad to be big pharma pretty much free.
That is awesome. Mary, you know what? My mom never bought toothpaste. We only used baking soda, and I restarted using baking soda. There's a lot of information here about toothpaste. I'm going to say one thing. What is in toothpaste? The main ingredient in toothpaste?
Formaldehyde.
And fluoride.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what fluoride is? It's a killer. It actually is a harmful substance. So I would be using Ed Rolling Grim could turn in. I'm gonna turn in for the night. Hate to miss, but we'll watch tomorrow. Okay, Moon, take care. God bless. See you tomorrow. So I'm actually looking at the same thing, and there was a study done, and I'm not saying to do this, but there was a study done where a lady had never brushed her teeth. She died at 98 years old, had a full mouth or all her teeth, never had one teeth pulled, never had one bad tooth, nothing. And I've heard people say as soon as they go to the dentist, as soon as they get one of their teeth fixed, they have issues the rest of the time when they start grinding and chiseling. But I'm not saying, you guys can do your own thing. But if I don't like going to the doctor, I don't like going to the dentist, and I like Gray, I don't like taking pills. I'd rather find a natural way that I can take care of the issue. You're going to be a lot healthier and a lot better off.
Yeah, like the other night, like I think I told some of you folks, I don't know if I was on Mark's channel or mine, I got a toothache, and instead of reaching for an ibuprofen or an aspirin, I just got me some garlic. First I did a saltwater rinse, and then I did some garlic, and the pain was gone, and I haven't dealt with it since.
Well, garlic is an antibiotic, antiseptic, and is very healthy. The other thing you can do if you got a really bad toothache is clove. Clove, yeah.
Clove, yeah. One thing you guys are talking about toothpaste is if you look what some of the bush people do, they use charcoal to brush their teeth. I know it looks weird, but they use charcoal.
It's a filter system. Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good idea. I mean, and it's down the road thing.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I want to talk with Gray in is, and we've been doing a lot of this back and forth, is using our wild edibles medicinal plants instead of, like fish mocks or any of this other stuff. So that's another one I want to look into.
Yeah, YouTube hates when you mention that word too.
What?
I've learned that. The word fish mocks.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot how they say it, but I guess it's because they don't want you to promote it or whatnot. But what is not they don't want you to promote,
Yeah, they can't keep us quiet because we have you wonderful people in the chat that are continuously going to say, hey, these guys are talking about this. So this is a platform that we're supposedly supposed to be able to speak our minds. We are kind of notched down and not being able to say anything like we used to be able to say on this a long time ago, but we still do. We slip them in there.
Yeah, Joy Blessed Life says I used to use charcoal to brush my teeth too.
Yep.
I know it said it looks funny because your teeth look black, but it's from the people in the bush. They say it works extremely well.
Bee Lady, does any kombucha for gut health? No, I make fermented cabbage, which is same style as kombucha, but I do the fermented cabbage, and let me tell you, that'll straighten you out in a hurry.
Been doing a lot of research on that too since Mark told me about that. A lot of probiotics in that fermented cabbage, more than you can think of.
See, the thing with the probiotics is from the research that I've done is usually they have 2 or 3 different, or they'll go up to 5 different probiotics are in that pill. Well, our guts, when it hits the bottom of our stomach, most of them are gone. They don't even get to our guts. They say that a good one is going to be 10. If you guys look up what fermented cabbage is all about and how it's made, you're going to see that it is I think it's 2 or 3 times the amount of probiotics in that quarter cup that you're going to get from eating fermented cabbage versus taking those pills. So it's a lot healthier. That's how, and look how our ancestors lived back in the day. They were healthier because this is the kind of stuff that they ate. They made their own sauerkraut. They made their own fermented foods. We have gotten lazy, and we either go to a fast food, or very rarely do you see people sit down because they don't have that time anymore to make a meal from scratch. I mean, we do here because of everything is how it's set up, but it's hard to do because you got a couple hours invested in making dinner every night. So you got to plan that ahead.
Yeah, DE14 jabs, kimchi is in that same type of family. A lot of the, I think the Koreans use a lot of kimchi. Vietnamese folks like kimchi. It's an Asian thing, not like in a negative way. It's an Asian part of their culture and their foods and stuff like that. Again, if you look at the Japanese, specifically if you center into Okinawa, they're the longest living, the healthiest and longest living people on the planet.
Hey, Donald, good to see you, buddy. Glad you could join us. This is a good live stream. Yeah, kimchi is really good. There's a lot of people that don't like kimchi. A lot of people, kombucha you can make at home. Fermented cabbage you can make at home, and that's all going to be positive for the gut health. And guys, remember, everything starts in your gut. Your gut is your battery on your body. So if that is wrong, you are going to have issues. And a lot of people have found out just by correcting their guts, they lost weight, they had a better health, better skin, everything. So really check into that and check into your fermented foods.
Yeah, it's ironic if you start doing research on foods in America, and if you look, like I said, over in let's say the United Kingdom or other countries, even in China and Korea and a lot of other countries, Italy, the Mediterranean, they don't consume the same type of foods that we consume here. They've outlawed specific types of preservatives that we still have legal in the U.S. here. There's some crazy stuff going on with our country and the foods that they force feed our population.
Yeah, Harvey just put in there, BPA free does not mean safe. Plastic tin cans are also contains toxic BPS and other harmful chemicals. Avoid all plastic tin cans as much as possible. Grow your own food and store it the old way. And the other, somebody's asking me the other day, with storing like your carrots, go check out some of these things because you can actually store carrots in sand in your cellars, potatoes, and they just brush them off and away they go. People that are down south that don't have to worry about the snow like we do here, they have actually put them and just buried them in their garden and covered them with dirt and go get them as they need them. So Jeff says fermented food and whiskey. Them old moonshiners, they weren't dumb. They did it the right way.
Yeah, right?
Yep. Started the prohibition right there.
I think every time I walk out of a store with a pack of the Balls canning jars, I'm thinking people are looking at me like I'm starting some sort of moonshine operation.
You start getting 100 pounds of sugar and 100 pounds of corn, then we're going to start to wonder.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Jeff. If you guys just came into the room, please hit up the thumbs up for us. It helps with our analytics. And let's blow those YouTube stats out of the water would be great. Another thing, too, guys, on the very top, you see the comment pin. If you'd want to become part of the Rolling Homestead and become a member, the link is up there on the top for you. Gardner Josh, there it is.
Kristen Marie, yes. Sauerkraut is basically fermented cabbage. Now, that being said, Kristen, you don't want to buy the sauerkraut in the store because it's been pasteurized. So all the, what is it called? All the probiotics have been removed from it.
And here's the question I'm going to ask you guys, and I'm not going to say yay and I'm not going to say nay. I'm just going to put this out there for you. So everybody knows that if you buy it from the store somewhere, somehow down the line, it has been pasteurized. So the question is when you go to the store and you buy probiotics in the jar, it's pasteurized. How is that healthy for you? And I do too, Jeff. I mean, I got jars of it all the time. Fermented cabbage is the first plant that I put in the garden. So graded a video on the 20 things for prepping. And I know there's other people that have asked what would I plant for a garden, and cabbage would be one of the very first things I put in there.
Gardner, Josh, are they really charging you that much where you live? I paid $11 for, maybe, are you buying more than I am? Like, I'll show you what I'm talking about.
You're buying them by the case. Yeah. What kind are they though? Because curd jars are going to be a lot. Them are ball jars. Oh, you're paying $11?
Yeah.
Oh man, you should buy them by the case. You can sell them on eBay.
Yeah, I didn't know. Down here in Florida, that's what they're going for. It was like $11 and change.
Yeah, he's right. It's $20 or $30 a piece up here for a case of jars. And the thing of it is this was all over the whole world last year. You could not get lids.
I do want to address something in chat because D14 Jabs is misinformed. So when it comes to vapes, as you see me vaping, look at the United Kingdom. And here's what I'm going to give you an explanation. In the United States, they want to promote big tobacco because big tobacco will fill your lungs full of carcinogenic smoke and then send you over to big pharma so that they can try to treat you for cancer and other lung diseases. Now, in America, we pay for our own medical. Like we, as citizens, we have to pay these high extreme insurances, medical insurance. Now, the UK, the United Kingdom, they don't pay for insurance. The government pays for the insurance, and they want their folks not to have to go to the hospital that much because it costs them money. The United Kingdom has vape shops, per se, or e-liquid places. When you go to the hospital and you're trying to quit smoking, they have a shop inside the hospital that will prescribe you an e-liquid to get you to stop smoking because they have seen that it's 98.9% healthier than smoking traditional cigarettes.
It's crazy like that. Yeah, Donald, there's a lot of things on this one that is totally crazy what we're talking about today. A lot of people don't want you to know this kind of stuff. Fermented cabbage, guys, are getting back on that. And your pasteurized food, remember, pasteurized means it kills all the good stuff. So if you can grow it, you can make it yourself. It's a lot better for you.
Yeah, no, Bettina, nothing is going to be 100% healthy. But if you're a smoker, transitioning to vape is going to be healthier than smoking carcinogenic cigarettes. And if you look at what's inside cigarettes, cigarettes have a mile-long list of chemicals in them, including stuff like, what is it? What's in rat poison? Is it strychnine? Is that what this is?
Oh, yeah, arsenic.
Arsenic, yeah, it has arsenic. Now, the juice that's inside here has a plant-based nicotine, VG, PG, and flavoring, which is only 4 ingredients compared to the thousands and thousands that you put in a cigarette. And when you light that cigarette, you apply heat to the cigarette, and that changes the molecular structure of all those chemicals in there, which then leads to cancerous cells in your body.
Take care, Mary, and thanks for joining us. Sweet dreams to you too. The other guys that I want to tell you about that I didn't even know this, Greg gave me this information. Tomatoes. We all love tomatoes. Sorry, some of us do. Some of us don't like tomatoes. My son don't like tomatoes. Believe it or not, there's nicotine in tomatoes.
Matter of fact, I'm glad you brought that up.
I'm going to go get some water. You're making me thirsty.
When Mark gets back, I'll have him share this with you folks. It'll blow your mind. Let me go back to the chat so I can see what I'm going on. Yeah, see, Jeff, you're right on the money. Here are similar places Native Americans grow and make their own cigarettes. Yeah, see, now that's different. The tobacco plant itself is not the aspect that's bad for you. Nicotine itself, like the tobacco plant or vegetables that have nicotine in them, can actually be beneficial to your health. Like I said, I always tell people, do some deep research. Don't believe what you hear. Let's say the American Lung Association, American Heart Association. Those are federally funded government things, and they're going to tell you whatever the federal government tells them to tell you. All right, let me switch this over to Mark here. And if you want to pull that up. So just to kind of give you guys an idea.
Well, hang on a second, Gray. I got to get that.
Gotcha.
There you go.
So if you see here, it says the average tomato has a nicotine concentration of 7.1 to 7.3 nanograms. It means there is 7.1 nanograms of nicotine in every 1 gram of tomato. Findings also show that nicotine levels decrease as the tomato ripens. Tomatoes belonging to the Solanase family, if I said that correctly, is found to possess nicotine alkaloid called tomatine. But anyways, the whole gist of this is if you look, tomatoes, potatoes, eggplants, they all have nicotine in them. Peppers, capsaicin, cauliflower, all that stuff like that. And if you go dig deeper into that, green tomatoes have the most concentration of nicotine, but this is plant-based nicotine. If that helps you make sense. And like I said, you guys can find this website yourself. You can see up here, or you can just type in. You can go into Google and type in, showing nicotines for tomatoes, and it'll take you to a bunch of other stuff. Right here, the whole contents and stuff like that. But just to kind of give you an idea that all nicotine is not derived from the tobacco plant.
And the other thing is, when you were talking about capsaicin is a wonderful thing because it is what opens our capillaries up for our body to absorb vitamins and minerals. That's why if you look in all your teas or your health drinks or any of those other things, one of the main ingredient in there is cayenne pepper, which has a higher amount of capsaicin, and it also has nicotine.
The Best Life. I'm not sure where you heard that at, but I've been vaping for over 9 years. Since vaping has been in its infancy, I get medical checks because of my age. I'm in my mid 40s now, every 6 months, and I have no signs of any lung damage, any health concerns, nothing. Everything comes back normal. Now, I'm not saying everybody's different, but I have not had any issues.
The other thing too is you got to talk about. You go to a normal gas station and get one of those little e-cigarettes or something like that. That's totally different than what the stuff that Gray has. Gray's has all the paperwork behind what he has going on there. So if you guys really start to dig into this whole thing, nothing is healthy if you're going to put something foreign in your body, it's not healthy, okay? But there are alternatives or something that's better than having a cigarette or, in my instance, chewing. There's stuff that's better out there.
As Harvey says, minimize the bad, maximize the good as best as you can. And yes, the stuff that you find at 7-Eleven gas stations or whatever gas stations you go to and you see these vape products, there is an evil side to the vape game, which is big tobacco. Big tobacco's been taking big hits in their pockets due to the vaping industry, and they're trying to come up with their own stuff, but they're also adding additional chemicals. So if you're ever going to turn to vaping as an alternative to smoking, do some research, find the right people to talk to, because you might be going down a path that's just not good for you as well. Now,
Jeff, sweet nicotine, yeah.
Yeah, Jeff's a vapor.
The other thing too, yep, Southern Florida, absolutely. Peppers are so good for you guys. It's not, do the research on them. They're one of those things too that I would be right up there with the superfood, but they're really healthy for you.
D14 jabs, that's what my assumption was as well, but I just wanted to answer the question regardless. Like I said, there's a lot of misinformation. You have to understand the goal most of the time, and you guys should know this as preppers, is the amount of misinformation that gets pumped into the internet. It gets pumped into mainstream media, that gets pumped into the school systems. This all falls on the same guidelines. When we're talking about the BPA and BPS, when we're talking about vaping and stuff like that, there's just a lot of misinformation out there. Just saying.
I thought everything on YouTube is true.
Yeah, right. And I always tell everybody when I do videos on my channel and I talk about something specific, I always tell one big thing. I always tell everybody, just because I say it doesn't mean it's the gospel. And second, please always do your own research. Dig, go further than just a headline. Get some research paper. do some hard work. If you really want to know about something, dive into it and put some effort into it, and you'll be amazed at the type of information that you can actually dig up if you put your mind to it.
Southern Florida, I don't like the waxy taste of habaneros, but if you want a really, really good pepper that's got some serious heat behind it that tastes amazing, go and check out the scorpion peppers. But they are on the hotter side, so if you know the ghost pepper, then you have the scorpion pepper, and then you got the Carolina Reapers, and now there's this devil thing I haven't even tried yet. But that scorpion pepper has amazing flavor. The heat is very much as intense, but it is amazing. Shawnee wants to buy food grade plastic. Shawnee, if you were in here from the beginning, we're digging into the whole BPA and BPS. And from my understanding, from what I've read so far in the studies that me and Gray and the stuff that Harvey has sent up, I'm staying away from all plastics as much as I possibly can because of the fact of the leaching concept. I don't even know now if I would consider food grade plastic to be safe. But that's just my opinion. I mean, you guys, Gray's 100% right. You have to do your own research on this and check it out for yourself. But we have done a lot of time on it.
And the ghost pepper, yeah, it's pretty potent stuff there.
The Ghost is not the hottest anymore. It's their Carolina Reaper. So if you go check out on a Scoling scale, they're South Florida, the Reaper's got it beat by a long shot. Scorpion is now in the middle. And I've had them. I've ate them on a live stream. I made some pickled eggs with them. I know. $60 in the straight line. That looks like little flying stars. What are you doing, Donald? Yeah, Harvey just put it in there, paper or plastic. Like I said, guys, this is going to disrupt a lot of things that we were taught, and a lot of things that we do. And trust me, I know exactly how it is.
Remember when you used to have a choice at the grocery store and they would ask you paper or plastic?
Yep.
And then Walmart took over.
I still go to the store that asks me if I got paper or plastic, little mom and pop store.
Yep. Paper bags come in handy and are so great to reuse.
You saw Elon Musk's new satellite? Check it out. Drop the link in there, Donald. Boy, that'd be cool. I don't know what it would be like to be that smart and that rich.
Yeah, it's pretty intriguing.
I'm a machinist, so I got that background, but having his engineering degrees and stuff like that, and that kind of just blows my mind.
Creative redundancy, a lot of stores offer that as well. The stores that I go, you can bring your own bag, your cloth bags and whatnot.
Hey, you're right, because you can buy a Walmart paper bag or the cloth bags for whatever it costs, and you can bring them back and fill them up. That's why I like going to Aldi's. Is I get that way you can have your paper bags there.
B Lady, where are you located? What state, if you don't mind me asking?
Awesome garden, Josh. That's cool. Yeah, I'm a machinist too.
I got online because I didn't know what they were. Paper bags keep mushrooms fresher in the fridge and not slimy. You know, it's weird. I have some mushrooms growing in my garden beds, and it has to be from the
compost.
The compost.
I saw today online they're asking $65 a pound up here for morels right now.
Wow.
Yeah. Gardner, I run a lathe, or both. We run a Kuma lathe, and then I run a Mori mill right now.
Creative redundancy, is another great bag is hemp. Hemp is a very useful product.
Jute twine is good too. I run both Gardner Josh verticals and horizontals.
Interesting, Shawnee. I'll sell them for that much.
They've came a long way too in the machining. I remember running manuals, and now it's amazing what they can do.
You said what do you run, Mark? A lathe?
I can run. Yeah, I do either. I'm a lathe or mill operator, so we have a Kuma lathes, and then we run most of our stuff in the shop is all Morisiki. So, but our big mills and stuff like that, they run horizontal and verticals.
The reason I ask is if you run a metal lathe, there's cool things that you can do that I'm not going to say here. If you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I'll tell you this little story. So, I was a machinist for a long time. I've been a machinist most of my life, and my company decided that the one that I thought I was going to retire in decided to sell to China, and they're a huge company because most of your automotive parts comes from this company. So they gave me a full free boat ride because I was part of the aerospace union to go back to school. So I get my little piece of paperwork. So one of my college projects is I made a cannon. I was shooting the M203. If you guys know what the M203 grenade launcher is, I made the exact size diameter of those things to fit in the cannon. And I made a couple of them out of aluminum, and I took them back to the farm, and I let them fly. And was I shocked? So then it was like 2 or 3 days later, the teacher came back up. He says, "Hey, Mark, you got to pull that program out of there. There's people are getting nervous with you making them." So.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. You'd be surprised what us machinists come up with. You never ever want to get us bored in a machine shop, a couple beers, because we can come up with some crazy stuff in a hurry.
Yeah, it's the reason I mentioned that is just remember I told you I worked in a fabrication shop, and the guy that was our lathe operator was called Rude Rob, and he's an old biker dude covered in tattoos, long beard, looked like ZZ Top, but he would make some creative stuff for me back then.
Yep. Yeah, I was. Josh did the same thing. I made a cannon that shot out golf balls. Yep.
That's pretty cool, JM. Egyptian spinach, aka jute.
If you guys really want to know too, plantain, if you pull a plantain leaf apart, they have a kind of like a string in between the leaves. You'll see there's 5 of them. And you can tie stuff with them. It's really crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of history D14 with hemp and yes, the Constitution and stuff like that. I don't wonder if my camera will focus on, but yeah.
What did Harvey say? Awesome. So.
Gardner Josh, are you ready?
Oh, Josh, I got to work that day. Otherwise, I was going to come over there and support you, but I'll be working at that time. So you're on your own.
All this creative and fabrication, less plastic chat is getting me. Yeah, it's believe it or not, there's a lot of people in the prepping community and survivalists and bushcrafters that prefer the old ways versus what we're in society today.
The other thing too, guys, is don't be afraid. I took a class for carving, and it was back in high school, and I still do to this day. I love to carve wood, but you know what? When I was out in the woods, grabbing a stick and carving your own fork, carving your own spoon, so that you can eat with, some of the tricks to making your own bowls. It is a useful skill set to have. So don't be afraid to go and check that stuff out. Of course, I heard the knowledge never leaves someone. Nobody can take from you. Yeah, Josh, some of the things with machining, there's more stuff that I forgot than some of these new kids even know.
Someone said something. What was it? Yeah, you can make flax seed like a flour. The only thing that scares me about flax is it's an estrogen producing compound, and for men eating it on a consistent basis. There's a research paper that I read into because I used to try to incorporate flax for my diet because of what it was. But I read also opposite research papers that talked about the estrogen inside of flax. Matter of fact, I can probably, let me see here.
Yeah, I saw for there is a lot of clothes that are made from hemp. Christine, good to see you. I don't know if I saw you in here before. I believe there was a real car made from hemp. Well, you guys remember Up in Smoke with Cheech and Chong? just saying.
Yeah. So it says flax seeds have been linked to an increase or a slight increase into estrogen. So I don't know. Yep, Harvey's backing me up on that. See, that's what I'm saying, man. I'm one of those book nerds, man. I dig into a lot of stuff before I start consuming tons of it. Because someone will say, "Oh, you need to add this to your diet, add that to your diet." So then I do the research on it.
South Florida remembers that. He's laughing over there. The old Cheech and Chong movies.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was a teen when I watched it, man, and those guys, they're still alive. So all the wacky tobacco they've been consuming, I guess, is still taking care of them.
Well, now he makes. I think it's not. Is it Cheech or is it Chong? One of them has his own pipe business, and he got raided a few times by the feds because he was making pipes. He wasn't even growing weed anymore. He was just making the pipes.
Yeah, Tommy Chong, he did it. He went to federal prison for transporting over state lines. I think Cheech has his own line as well. It's funny where this conversation is diving off into.
Well, everybody's talking about him. Well, I know that you got Snoop has his own line. Willie Nelson has his own line. So
even Mike Tyson has his own line.
Yep, Mike Tyson has his own line. Yep, what he makes in one day, people don't make it 4 years.
But in regards to hemp, we can go as far back as George Washington. They grew hemp in large fields. Matter of fact, in certain parts of the country, I think, and even in Iowa, if some of those folks in Iowa, you can find what they call it ditchweed, but
we got that up here too.
Yeah, it's basically hemp.
It's kind of funny because you're talking about George Washington, because that actually, if you go back and you do the research on moonshine, he was one of the biggest moonshiners there was.
Gardner Jock says Chong has good glass.
Yeah, it's funny. How did we get to that from going from plastic? It's kind of hilarious. That's a big loop there.
Yeah. What's funny is when I got deep into the whole Cheech and Chong era, when I was a young adult, I bought their records and stuff like that because before they went, with movies, they used to do these records that my dad had a few of them, and then I started trying to research them. They were pretty entertaining. It was pretty funny.
Northwoods, if that is the case, if that comes out and they make Wisconsin legal in Wisconsin, I think there's going to be a lot of happy people because it is crazy what they have up here. You got to remember too is that's the income and the revenue just from that alone is crazy.
Yeah.
I even checked into growing medical marijuana, and after 5 years, you could retire, Gray.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is everybody's just going to the areas that it's legal. So the drug dealers are the ones that are taking a hit because now they're no longer – because you just go over to the other state and go pick it up yourself.
What was it? Was it D14? Yeah, that's the problem. Is if you look at the tax stamps in history, uh, I think it was a direct assault. It wasn't even an assault on the the euphoric effects of it. I think it was more had to do with hemp, because the government it's so easy to grow, and the government couldn't control it the way they wanted to. So they did all kinds of stuff with it, and that's what became an illegal substance. That being said, ironically, if you look at the what is it, the chart that classifies illegal substances, it was at the top alongside of hard drugs, like let's say, what was it? It was associated with hard drugs, but stuff like other drugs, like what is it? The I don't know. I don't want to say it on the channel. It's like the white powdery stuff.
Yeah.
That was below. They considered hemp more uh, of a of a how do you say it, a more illicit drug than that white stuff. If that makes any sense.
We in Wisconsin here, they have these. The farmers are growing hemp now, and they have these huge fields, and they're up here now that are all checked out. So Josh says, "Mark, come down here in Oklahoma and help me start one." What are you talking about, Shine or the other one?
Yeah, I can see that creative. Agreed, Harvey. My kitchen work days.
Wow. Joyce says hemp fields replace tobacco fields in Tennessee. That is crazy.
Yeah, big tobacco is getting beat on, which is I'm happy about left and right. Overseas, big tobacco, they over in the UK, big tobacco had to put all these nasty pictures of like diseased lungs and stuff on the packs of cigarettes.
Believe it or not, I think they also did that in Germany too, because Germany and Russia are big smokers. So, and what's really was really dumb, because you know this, you could go to the PX, you can get a whole, not just a pack, you can get a whole carton of cigarettes dirt cheap, or chew or whatever else down in the PX side. I mean, my grandpa used to tell me that in the C rations, they used to have cigarettes in the C rations for you. It was Lucky Strikes were in there.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, JM, that was a tax stamp, and then if you look at the history of it, what was it? Reefer Madness, the propaganda films that they used, so kids wouldn't get involved into it, or young adult. It was really big in the jazz community, so a lot of folks also said it had to do with the that community as well, and they had to do with the how do I say this politely? It had to do with your ethnic background back then as well, that they were targeting.
D14 says they got them nasty images here too.
Oh, up in Canada?
Yep.
Oh, they're kind of part, not they're not part of the UK, but they're share very similar stuff.
And just so for YouTube, we're not telling anybody to use any kind of drugs or smokable things that are illegal in your state.
Yeah, no, we're having a discussion. Yeah,
Put that out there before I call up you tomorrow and say, I don't got no channel anymore.
Yeah, right. That would really suck, brother. But I've seen a lot worse things on YouTube. I've seen some crazy. I went down a rabbit hole one time on YouTube, and I don't want to talk about it on here, but I seen things that blew my mind that YouTube was letting fly, all the way up to full frontal, on YouTube, full everything.
Get him, Josh. Get him. He hasn't read that one yet.
Rand said he was a book nerd and he don't know about 420. Oh well. I know about 420, and I also know about 710, Josh. Do you know what 710, Josh, is?
I don't even know what that one is.
If you want to test my 420 skills, I had a history.
I want to talk about something hilarious. Okay, so I was sitting, and this is for you metalheads that are machinists. You'll know what UT testing is. Otherwise, it's a big terminology for testing for porosity and holes in material. So I'm in a UT class. It happens to fall on 420. Okay, so we're sitting in this class, and my buddy looks over and says, "Hey, it's 4:20 today." And I just went boom, right over the top of my head. I'm like, "Yeah, what's your point?" And he says, "Wouldn't it be funny if tomorrow they do a random drug test?" I'm like, "Nah, what's the chances of that?" You know what I'm going through. Next day, what do they do? Random drug test. And I'm like, "That's hilarious." So Joyce says there are hemp CBD stores all over the Smoky Mountains. Wow. Can't find that stuff up here.
Florida's getting more comfortable with it. They're not going to go for legalization in regards to it right now. It's still medicinal, and you have to get your card and whatnot. But they are loosening the restrictions.
Oh, look at Harvey's testing us again.
Yeah.
Actually, guys, we pressure can meats, all our vegetables. I found out Harvey, and this came from an old Italian grandma. I used to do water bath canning, and if you look at in the cooking ways of things, when you do, first off, you make and you cook your tomato sauce down. So you're already cooking it. Then you put it in a can or in a jar, and then you throw it in a water bath canner and you cook it some more. It kills all the minerals and everything you're trying to get out of that tomato. Well, this little Italian grandma showed me a trick that has saved me so much time now. Very rarely do I pull out the canner. Now, I'm not saying don't follow the ball book, and I'm not saying so the UT gets all paranoid. There's the ball book, but if you look who wrote the ball book, you'll understand this concept. There's ways around water bath canning.
Yeah, I'm really new to the whole game thing. That's why I'm depending on you guys. I had a couple emails that some folks are willing to also send me some information on that can.
Best thing I can tell you, Gray, is you get the ball book. You can order it on Amazon. They're cheap. It's one of the best things to have because it has so much of the measurements and stuff that you're going to need.
Mm-hmm.
And after you can find it where you actually probably where you're buying them jars from. The ball book is probably right there.
Okay, I'll check next time.
They usually have it right by the side. I mean, it's a good reference. I still use all of that for referencing, and I got a lot of recipes out of there. But once you see the easier way of doing things, you're like, where's this been all? I mean, I've been doing it that way for years, and all of a sudden I watch that, I'm like, no, ain't that interesting? You know, and you want to talk about having them crispy pickles where they snap in your mouth? Yeah.
Yeah, JM has talked to me about canning as well.
Yeah, JM. So if you guys understand the concept of cooking and canning and stuff like that, you're bringing stuff up to a certain temperature when you break it down. So let's take tomatoes. I know everybody has been there for making tomato sauce, tomato juice, whole tomatoes, all that other stuff. You bring it to a boil, then you put it in the jars. You clean off the top, you put your lid on, you seal it down, and you put it in the canner. And you bring it up and cook it some more. Well, what this lady showed me is she takes a very, very thick blanket, and she has that hot substance in there. She fills it to the top. She cranks that lid down tight, and she sticks it up there upside down. And the next morning, by my surprise, every single she had zero that were not sealed. So I tried it, and I was so impressed with the taste. I was so impressed that everything was, and I didn't have to do any water bath canning. But like I'm saying, and I don't want anybody coming back, well, Rolling told me to do this. I'm not saying to do that at your own, because the FDA is with the whole cooking thing. That's what that book came out, the ball book for proper preparedness. But I found out it was a lot easier doing it this way, and it made sense.
Now, let me ask you guys a question in regards to canning. What about, okay, so let's say I get a can, right? I can't, grab one of those cans and you want to put dry beans into it. Do you still have to follow that entire process since it's dry beans?
What I do is I will show you a trick with my vacuum sealer. There's an attachment you can get to your vacuum sealer that you can put it right on there. and it sucks the oxygen right out of there,
Mhm.
and it seals it.
Okay.
I do still put oxygen absorbers in there just because I'm a freak about that kind of stuff. But you can do that. The traditional way is you put it in the low heat in the oven. It's called dry canning.
Okay.
But I found out the vapor sealer works really nice. Yeah, Josh, sterile is sterile. Exactly. That's the other thing to this, guys, is that when you do it without the water bathing, you have to make sure that your jars are sterile. You can wash them, and dishwashers now get it hot enough to do that. I actually stick my jars in the oven. I crank it up to 285 degrees, and I let them sit in there for a half an hour before I even start using them. So that's how I sterilize all my stuff and the lids, and I'm making sure that I'm not touching them. So there is that process. Pine beetles, yes. We have another one up here that was killing a bunch of our other trees too, Lady B.
Heat sealer from Midline. Dry lock storage styles. Dry lock bags. Because I have a vacuum sealer.
Yeah, there's keep them busy here. I will go get that lids and I'll show you. There's the hoses and everything. There should be a connection on your vapor sealer or your vacuum sealer where a little rubber hose goes in there.
Yeah, the tube. It's like a little black.
Yeah, I'll go get the caps. I'll show you.
You can also use dry lock. I'm curious what dry lock is. It sounds familiar, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna Google it real quick, just because it's the fastest way. Even though I don't trust Google much with anything anymore. Okay, I see what we're talking about. Interesting. I'll look more into it. Is the name of it Northwest Peach Tree? Hello is the name of it. The bags are like the jars, just bags. Okay, thank you. Yes, the water bath and pressure canning are mainly to kill botulism. Yeah, D14. I learned as of about a month ago that DuckDuckGo is in league with Google. Believe it or not.
What is the chances that you go downstairs and you actually find it?
To do some research, D14. I was shocked. I used to use DuckDuckGo, and I found out that they have pretty much sold out. Matter of fact, I think Prepper Now has a list of companies that are associated with companies that are associated with Google and stuff like that.
All right, so I'm going to show you this. So I'm going to make this large so everybody can see this.
Okay.
So guys, this is from Food Saver, and how this works is you have a little hose and it has a valve on both sides, and one portion goes in like so. It's got a rubber garment on here, and you have a wide mouth canning lid. Fits in here like so, and it does all the job that you need. This hooks up to your vacuum sealer, and away you go. Very simple. You can get this right from Food Saver. Here's the directions, and it goes in here step by step on how to seal your jars. So if you guys are interested in using your canning jars for dry foods, this is a very great alternative to do that, and quick. I can do jars. I can do 12 jars like within 10 minutes with this thing compared to putting them in the oven and doing them the dry way. And when you guys buy this kit, it also has the small mouth in here too. So if you're using small mouth jars, it is also in here.
Yeah, when you're done with that, I'm going to show folks something because some people are asking that. I'll show you Harvey and D14.
Yeah, drop it in.
All right. And it's funny because Google doesn't mind sharing this information.
Don't forget, guys, if you're new to the channel, if you like what you see, please subscribe to me and Gray. And don't forget that thumbs up.
Oh man, hold on. It switched on me. Here it is. There it goes. As you can read, it says Google has quietly added DuckDuckGo as a search engine option for Chrome users. And if you start digging into DuckDuckGo, if DuckDuckGo is secure, why would Google do that? And I found other people in the community that have sent me paperwork that shows Google is kind of deeper involved than you would think in the whole DuckDuckGo thing. Oops, now I need to switch back. So just to let you guys know, it's because I used to use it all the time. So now, I use, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Tor browsers and whatnot.
Tor browser, yeah.
Yeah, like you can use a Tor browser, VPNs. There's ways to surf safely. But like I said, it's just, you got to be careful with everything.
South Florida's asking if you made jailbird hooch.
I haven't. Northwood Peach that I use Brave. I'll look into Brave. I'm always curious and looking to dive into stuff.
So guys, we're gonna go for about another till 12:30. That'll be my 2-hour mark. So if you guys got any more questions about the BPA, if you guys want us to touch on this anymore, put that up in the chat. Q Kitchen, good to see you. Glad you came in here. And if you guys just came in here and you missed what we're talking about, the BPA, the canning stuff, anything like that, go back and watch the replay on that. And absolutely, if you don't have Gray Man, go and check out his channel. Harvey just will put his link in there. He also will put Gray's schedule for you guys so you can catch out all this information, because me and him do talk a lot of different things that we both talked about on our channels. Didn't get the notification. Yeah. And the other thing too, guys, if you go and check on, each one of us has our Instagram and all that stuff in there. We use Instagram to send out the notifications that Gray is going live or I'm going live. I send that out in a bulk message. So if you guys do not have my Instagram, go on to my main page of my channel, and on the bottom corner of my channel art, you'll see Instagram there. And you can click on it, and that's how I send out most of my notifications. Gray has one too, so he's over there reading.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Brave thing. They're using a Brave versus DuckDuckGo. I'm gonna have to do more research, but I'll dig into it. Thanks, Harvey.
Yeah.
People love the coveted G-spot.
Yeah. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight, and I hope we gave you, just, if not, like Gary said, as we weren't trying to scare anybody, we just wanted you guys to get out there and think about that stuff and use common sense with that. And we're not scientists. None of us are mad scientists or millionaires and have this knowledge, with just stuff that we read also. So
the way I look at things, folks, is when it comes to prepping or anything that I discuss, I'm sharing information, but my goal is to sow the seed. So I sow the seed that gets you guys thinking, and then you guys grow from there. Hopefully that you guys can understand that analogy. Is
Sure thing, Northwoods. I will go and check it out. That's how I send all this stuff out when he's going live or I go live or any of that stuff. I share it out on my Instagram. So does Gray.
Yeah, I've been trying to utilize. I created that Facebook group, which some people don't like Facebook, but I also have the MeWe, Instagram, Twitter. Because I know some folks like certain platforms, other ones they don't. I've tried the Rumble. I have a Rumble account and a bunch of other stuff like that. I have a Patreon, but I only have one Patreon. So I've tried other platforms, but right now YouTube is not doing too crazy. They're not doing some of the things they've done to others yet, but give it time. I mean, you never know.
So guys, if you ever hear me mention Bookface, that's Facebook, because I don't like it either. So I call it Bookface.
Yeah, we're very limited on social media platforms and where we can go. I know there's stuff in the works. I know Number 45 is working on something. Currently, he launched it, but he's the only one allowed to post to it. But I heard there's a bunch of rumors going around that there's going to be another free platform.
The best thing I can tell you guys is that we both post on our community tab no matter what we're going on. So if you keep track and you check our community tab on YouTube, you'll see what's going on because we do post in there. Make sure that your bell is ringing for both of us and that you're subscribed, because I know, Gray, we got 4 minutes, so I'll let you tell your story of what he found out with YouTube and unsubscribing to people. Kind of interesting, and I was there to witness the whole thing.
Live, yeah. He was there to witness it live. That was crazy.
So what happened, guys, is YouTube unsubscribed Gray from me. And when he went to go back and try to subscribe to me and ring the bell, he refreshed the page and it was unsubscribed. He didn't do this once. He didn't do this twice. 3 times before it finally stayed. So if you guys, please go check out who you have. And if you're not subscribed to them, and you can resubscribe back to them, and keep an eye on that because they are doing wonderful things like that.
D14, I'm on Instagram as well. And people always wonder, all my social media, my logo is the same logo on all platforms, be it Instagram, be it Twitter, be it wherever you find me. My Gray Man logo is my Gray Man logo, and it's everywhere. I even have a Twitch account that I don't use, but I own the Gray Man Prepping Twitch account.
So you see it on the long side of his head there. That is his. There's another one out there that says Gray Man Prepping. It starts with a Gray. That is not Gray Man. So, guys, if it isn't that logo, it's not the real Gray Man. Northwood posted Facebook. Yeah, I hear you. I don't like it either.
Yeah, I have an account that I don't use other than with my sister. I don't use it for really anything other than I push the channel on there just because I figure it's just another outlet, but I'm not really super interactive. So if you go to any of my platforms, I just use these other platforms to push the channel to just try to get more exposure, because the goal is to get the message out to as many people as we can.
Yeah, Jam says, "Oh, an imposter, huh?"
Yeah, we're not going to dive too deep into it, but there's someone out there.
Yeah. All right, guys. You guys all take care. Thank you for joining us on our rant, or however you want to say it. It's been a great pleasure to spend time with you guys tonight. Thank you so much, Gray, for joining us and coming in and helping. You guys remember, Harvey showed you his schedule. I will be live on Mondays and Fridays, and then I'll have 2 videos up a week, and Gray posts pretty much 5 days a week. So either way, we'll try to get as much information as we can out to you guys. And also don't forget, we are working on a Tuesday morning live stream at 10 o'clock Central Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time. And we will be talking about our stuff on there. That should be coming soon. So, guys, take care. God bless, and we will see you on the next one.